Boilermakers played in front of a record crowd yesterday at Mackey Arena, a sellout of 14,876. Third sellout in program history, but the largest crowd ever to see women's basketball at Mackey Arena. Purdue hung with fourth-ranked Indiana for a half, but fell to the Hoosiers 69-46. Boilermakers now 15-7 on the season, 6-6 in the Big Ten, with two big games coming up this week. Purdue will head to Rutgers on Thursday night to take on the Scarlet Knights in a 7 o'clock tip, and then Super Bowl Sunday, Purdue back home at Mackey Arena to face the Northwestern Wildcats. That game will tip off at 2 o'clock. Good evening, everybody, from Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union. It is the Katie Gearlds Show. We'll tell you right off the bat that the head coach is out recruiting tonight, so we're going to the bullpen for the long relievers. We have all three assistant coaches tonight with us. Beth Kuchar, the associate head coach, assistant coach Alex Guyton, and assistant Michael Scruggs will be with us over the next hour. We'll talk Boilermaker basketball up until 8 o'clock Eastern Time. You can follow along tonight on Facebook on the Purdue Athletics site, and if you've got any questions or just want to let us know where you're watching from, please do that. We'll have Beth Kuchar when we come back. It is the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Katie Gearlds knows she can step out and knock that down. Offensive board for Parrish. Had it ripped away. Back on the Boilermakers. Aisha Petrie turns, stops, and pops. She's solidified in a tournament spot right now. Harper, three. That's a big one to go down. Indiana basketball. Just like her head coach, Katie Gearlds, one of 10 in program history. Downhill, Ellis, that's what Katie Gearlds wants to see, is her guards getting downhill.
To maneuver around screening actions, you've got to use your feet and do a dance.
Blocked there from Smith, off the ball. Now you see Ellis with it, has to step back. That's a really tough shot, doesn't matter for Abby Ellis.
Previous play. The high ball screen was coming. And she didn't need it.
They're doing it again today.
No doubt.
Harden's drive. Purdue has the lead.
Here at Indiana, she's a seasoned vet when it comes to playing against tough competition.
That's an and one for Purdue.
Garzone lays it up. Waitress style, serving it up, and then on the X factor for the success of this Indiana ball club.
That's a good way to put it. An X factor. And as easy drive for Jayla Smith turns into two.
And top three in the country.
Certainly on track to do that again today. Second effort from Petrie.
The absence of offensive production, that one away on the offensive boards.
And Petrie just 3 of 10, by the way. Player averages 14 a game. Terry, who got into foul trouble earlier, kicks it over to Smith. And able to get that to go around and down. Love chatting with her. Drive from Scalia, blocked from behind by Smith, who's a young player that will be playing for Katie Gearlds over the next few years in this fourth quarter.
Yeah. How about this defense right here on Scalia?
Back to the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union. We're live at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. And we are joined by Associate Head Coach Beth Kuchar. Again, head coach is out recruiting tonight, so you're going to tell us all about this Boilermaker team. And let's start with yesterday. Certainly a disappointing result, disappointing outcome, but the atmosphere at Mackey Arena, I think, is something that those kids who played the game yesterday will remember the rest of their lives.
Absolutely. And before we even get started, Katie just wanted me to really say she was sorry. She couldn't be here. This has been scheduled for a while, one of our top recruits, and with tournament play coming up, we had to get her there. But she is so, so grateful and appreciative for that crowd. I mean, she got emotional walking down the tunnel, and she just wanted to thank everybody because not only for our players, but for our fans, for our supporters, for our families, it was just incredible.
You know, the great thing about athletics in general, it's a human game played by human beings, and I couldn't help but notice during pregame warm-ups yesterday, your kids every once in a while were kind of sneaking a peek around and taking it all in. I think a lot of those kids, probably the majority of them, have never played in front of more than 14,000 people before.
Oh, no doubt. A lot of them hadn't played in the biggest crowds we've had, was about 6,000, and they were looking around, as well as Michael and Alex and myself. We were looking too, and it was just amazing, especially when all the students started coming in, because, it's great to have our fans, but when you have students, people you're sitting in class with, watching you play, it just makes a big difference.
We got a question here from Sheila. Do you think that our team was intimidated at all? Do you think it actually kind of worked the other way at any point point yesterday?
You know, that's a great question. I didn't feel like we were intimidated. You know, we were a little anxious to start probably, you know, but I don't think the moment was too big. I just think the start might have been a little slow, but I don't think we're intimidated.
You know, and you were a little concerned when you started the game and you were down 7-0. You're thinking, oh, boy, this could get away in a hurry. And I thought the way they responded, got the lead a couple of times in the first quarter. The game, you go into halftime, and it's a 5-point game, and you feel like you're right in the basketball game. What was the mood like in the locker room at the half?
I mean, it was good, you know. I mean, I felt like our kids had followed the game plan. I mean, we kept Holmes from scoring. We kept Berger from scoring. They're two best players. You know, we got Paris in foul trouble. I felt like we did such a good job. We could tell offensively we really hadn't got it going yet, though. So we felt like at halftime, if we could get it going offensively, the game could change. And then, as you saw the game, it didn't happen offensively for us.
You know, you look at their defense, and the one thing we noticed when they were warming up yesterday, that's a big basketball team. Their smallest starter is 5'11". In the women's game, that's a pretty good size. And Chloe Moore-McNeil, I thought, was the player of the game yesterday. She scored 13 points or 15 points in the game, but I thought her length on defense really bothered some of our guards.
Yeah, I mean, I thought some of our looks were really good, and at the last minute they get a hand on it, you know, because they're just so long and athletic. And I thought the rotations were really good yesterday. They really got into the paint. And I know in the press conference Terry did credit Katie on her offensive mind, and I thought we had our kids in the right positions. But, you know, for us, we got to hit some shots outside to loosen things up, and we just couldn't get it to fall.
You know, you knew that they would go to Mackenzie Holmes yesterday in the second half. She's scoring more than 22 points a game. She had scored 20 or more points in 6 straight games. She only got 2 shot attempts in the first half, and you just had a feeling they were going to come out in the second half and try to feed her the ball and get her involved, and unfortunately they did early in that third quarter. Yeah,
they got her going, which is just a little back screen, and we didn't check it, and we missed a couple assignments. And against a team like that, you just really can't do that. And I think that's where they got their lead, and they started really pushing and scoring offensively right after we missed those assignments. But, again, our effort was there the whole time, and I agree with you, Tim. They're a good basketball team, and, you know, we're close. You know, we feel like we're close. I know the score didn't indicate that, but we felt like our kids were really close, and, you know, we got to bounce back.
I will say we have a big basketball game. We're going to talk more about that on Thursday night, but the Iowa-Indiana game on Thursday, that's the first of 2 games they're going to play here down the stretch. Probably will determine the Big Ten championship. Those 2 games are going to play.
Yeah, that's definitely one I want to watch. You know, I'll probably have to watch it later, but that's going to be it's going to be offensive. I think it's scoring in 90s. I really do.
You know, it's funny. Basketball is a cyclical game, and there was a period back in the 80s and 90s when Purdue had a complete domination over Indiana, and over time things change. And right now, you have to give Terry credit. I think she's done a great job down there in Bloomington. She's got players who fit her system. It's like what we see on the men's side with Matt Painter. She brings in players that fit their system. They play it well. They play hard, and you got to give them credit. You hate to give them credit, but you got to give them credit.
Yeah, I know. Just looking at this red walking by right now, I'm struggling. But, yeah, you hate to give him credit, but you really have to. She's built something there. And again, that's exactly what Katie's going to do here, and it's going to be fun to watch this rivalry continue in the next couple of years.
And you do get another opportunity. You go down there. Now it's going to be senior day when you head down there in a couple of weeks, and I'm sure they'll have a big crowd. They're going to probably try to outdraw you down at Assembly Hall. It'll be interesting to see how your team responds a couple of weeks later with another opportunity to play the team that's ranked right now number 2 in the country.
Absolutely, and I think they are number 2 in the country. But, yeah, we'll go down there. They're going to try to sell it out. I'm sure they will. But I think our kids will be ready, and we'll let the pressure be on them with their crowd being that big.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk more with Beth Kuchar. It is the Katie Gearlds Show presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
So here we are. Super Bowl champions are born here. This wall commemorates, all of the former Purdue players that have played in the Super Bowl. You know a little bit about this. I know nothing about this. I never got the opportunity to play in the Super Bowl. Never could get past the Dallas Cowboys, that 93-94, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin. They just handed it to us. I'm just being honest. But tell me about that experience, and how did Purdue help you, as a leader of the Saints, 2006, get to that point, and just a little bit about that season.
Yeah. Well, I think I speak for all the guys that are listed up here as Super Bowl champions in saying that Purdue sharpened us, Purdue molded us, Purdue gave us opportunities to develop our confidence and develop our skill, and to see what a winning program looks like, and to see what a winning team and a winning culture looks like. And that's what we had here, and that's what we were then able to go and impart on the teams that we played at in the NFL. A lot of, I think, the expectation level that you have and your leadership qualities and abilities carry forward from learned here. I can certainly say that, and I know a lot of these guys will as well. I played with a lot of these guys, and this is a testament to not just what these guys meant to this program here at Purdue, but what they then went on to accomplish based on, I think, the knowledge, experience, and wisdom that they garnered from here. And all these guys I see come back to Purdue and contribute still so much, not just to the football program, but to the university. And I think it says a lot about the way that they feel about how this experience here at Purdue contributed to that success.
A little playing time, so before a Purdue basketball game or any time throughout the week, stop by Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. Boilermakers hit the road Thursday night. Will be in Piscataway, New Jersey at Jersey Mike's Arena. 7 o'clock tip-off, 6:45 will be the airtime. I wanted to mention one other thing about yesterday's game. It was fun to see Lynn Dunn in the crowd, former Boilermaker head coach, now the general manager with the Indiana Fever. I talked to her a little bit about some of their pro prospects. Katie Douglas was in the stands yesterday, and I know that Katie Gearlds has made an emphasis, and she's going to make a bigger emphasis this offseason of trying to get more former players, more alumni involved back in the program.
Yeah, we just really want that. Our players need to see that too, see what was before them, see who worked hard to get the program where it is. And Katie's done a great job of just reaching out, and I think they want to come. I mean, if you play hard and you put a good product on the floor, people want to come. But, yeah, she's definitely wanting to get the alumni back in.
I mentioned to Katie after the game yesterday, you have to take a little bit of a bigger picture look than just yesterday's game. And you look at these last 2 weeks, you played 3 top 25 teams, 2 of them on the road. You won 2 out of the 3. You sold out Mackey Arena, and you did it a little bit differently. You changed some defenses. This has been primarily a man-to-man team, but you played a lot of zone, especially the last 2 games before this one, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's fun because our girls are really picking up on it, and they're really understanding it, and they're committed to it. And it's just some zone. It's a 2-3. We stay off certain people. Sometimes we'll run a box and 1, sometimes a triangle and 2, and it's been great for us. I mean, the 2 wins on the road against Illinois and Ohio State, without those defenses, we would have struggled to play 40 minutes a man against those teams because they all just get to the basket. So it's been fun. We threw a little bit of junk at Indiana. They're the kind of team that's more hard to do, but yeah, really proud of our kids locking in on that.
I think sometimes also when you change defenses like that, sometimes it can get your kids more mentally involved in the game, where instead of, obviously if you're playing man-to-man defense, it's very effective and you can play against a team, that's fine. But when you have a team maybe that has more talent than you have, you've got to change things up a little bit.
And that's exactly what we're doing. And I think you're right. They do get focused because they have to be. They have to know who they're closing out on. They got to know who they're clogging the paint on. And it's been really fun. And I told somebody the other day when we did it against Illinois, we really practiced it for 2 days. And we were thinking about being in it maybe 1/3 of the time. We ended up being in it, probably 90% of the time?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And one thing we haven't seen this year, and I think we'll probably see more, I don't know if next season, but maybe at times you try to put a little pressure on in the backcourt, just if nothing else to slow the other team down and try to disrupt their offensive tempo.
Yeah, it helps us a lot with our matchups, Tim, because if we can go ahead and get one quick trap and get them slowed down and get back, we can get matched up a lot quicker. And we were having a little problems with that about a couple weeks ago. So Katie put a quick trap in, and it's really helped us with our matchups.
Looking on Facebook, Tim said he was sorry to miss the great atmosphere in Mackey. It was a tremendous atmosphere. And again, thanks to all the fans and especially the students. Some of them had been waiting out all night to try to get in line. And I know there were some issues that hopefully we're going to get fixed for the next time. But we really want to appreciate all the fans and the students who came out yesterday. Ira from Wisconsin, always with us. John from Pennsylvania says, well, we have 6 games left, 5 against teams behind you in the standings, but it's a 1-game season. Right now it's Thursday night and it's Rutgers, and that's really all the focus right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're just right now fighting every game. Every day we got to challenge the day tomorrow with our practice, getting ready for Rutgers, and we got to worry about Rutgers because we got a great chance right here to get a good seed in the tournament and hopefully get some wins in the tournament and get to the next tournament. So we just got to take care of our business 1 game at a time. Brianne
wants to know who was guarding Chloe yesterday. Well, they had. This is one of those things where you always have to pick your poison. And I heard Micah Shrewsbury after the Penn State men's game here talk about when you play a team that has great offensive weapons, you can't guard everything. It's just impossible. And you have to choose your poison. Chloe Moore McNeil had been shooting 26% from three-point range yesterday. Give her credit. She came in and knocked down 3 triples.
She did. And I think she hit the first one. You probably saw Katie look back at me and just kind of give me the look. But that was our game plan, you know. We'd rather her get the shots and go 3 for, I think she went 3 for 8 or 3 for 9 from the 3 in the first half, than have Holmes in there scoring layups, you know, after layups, or have Paris hitting 3s. So it was our game plan, and I thought it was a good plan. And, you know, I think our kids really executed it.
All right, Coach, we had you on a pitch count tonight. It's ready to go. I'm ready to go to the next pitcher. We'll bring Alex Guyton on next, but thanks for coming in, and we'll see you on the plane on Wednesday.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll be back in 2 minutes. More of the Katie Gearlds Show presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
The walk down the tunnel today, it gave me chills.
I mean, just to see the support from all the students and all just everyone, like it was just great to play in that atmosphere, and yeah, it's really great for women's basketball as well.
This is what it's supposed to look like in our game. And we've got to keep continuing to improve. Our product has to be a good product to get people to continue to come back. But this is what we're chasing, right? This is it. This is why I'm here, and this is what we're trying to do.
We got to work even harder every day, and you know, now we're focused on Rutgers. We're gonna go down there and we're just gonna play how we play, and I think we've got that toughness about us, and we'll just get back to work and learn from it and then go get some more wins.
We believe that we belong. Last week showed us that. Last 3 games, we go on the road to play a top 25 team. We go on the road, we play a top 5 team. We win. That's not supposed to happen, but we know and we feel and we believe that we belong.
On 95.3 Bob FM.
Welcome back to the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union. We're live at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. Purdue Global is Purdue's accredited and affordable online solution for working adults. Persistence pays off at Purdue Global. 2 games this week for Purdue. Rutgers on the road Thursday night. Then Northwestern comes in here on Sunday. Right now, the Wildcats are playing Nebraska. We did this to Alex Guyton to Ohio State, where Purdue hit 7 3-pointers in the first quarter. Nebraska hit 6 3-pointers in the first quarter tonight. They're leading Northwestern 32-18 with 6:44 to play in the first half. Joined by assistant coach Alex Guyton. And before we talk about some of your post players, let's talk about the atmosphere yesterday, because you played here. You ran down that tunnel at Mackey Arena a lot of times, but you never ran down it with 14,000 people in the stands.
Absolutely not. It was amazing to see, amazing for our girls, just an amazing atmosphere to be a part of. And I'm sure KG and all the coaching staff felt the same way, just to have chills walking down the tunnel. And honestly, I wish I could have played. I was amped up for the girls, for sure. Did you take a chance or take the time to look around at any point? I remember I did that just before the anthem. Just did a 360 and looked around and said, yeah, this is pretty good. This is a pretty good situation. Actually, I did. When we walked down the tunnel that last time, right before we do the lineups, I looked around and I was like, wow, like, this could never happen again, or it could happen again. And just to know that, like, this is what we've been trying to build for these student athletes, and for them to experience it, it was big time for sure. You work a lot with the post players. Let's talk a little bit about those posts, and we'll start with Caitlin Harper. And I think Caitlin has really come on in the Big Ten season. She's shown her versatility. We know that Caitlin Harper is able to score down low, but I think the thing that's impressed me is her ability to take her defender away from the basket, hit the three-point shot, and also draw that opposing center away from the hoop. Exactly. Her versatility helps us so much, because we don't just have to pound her on the block. She can move around. She stretches them. She stretches defenders and having them guard on the perimeter. And now you see her, she's trying to put the ball on the floor a little bit. She's a good passer. And I've been really impressed in her ability and challenging her to guard Big Ten athletes. And she's she's definitely rising to that occasion.
You know, I was really impressed yesterday. She missed a shot on Purdue's opening possession. And to say that she missed the shot, I mean, the ball looked like it came off the side of her hand, and she was like 3 feet wide to the right. And you're thinking, well, I hope that doesn't put her into shell. Next time she gets the ball behind the three-point line, she drills one from about 24 feet. I thought that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, she showed some toughness there with her mindset of being able to shoot through the bad ones. And even down low, she missed a couple quick ones, but was able to bounce back and get to her spot and get her points.
You can tell every once in a while, I mean, there's a big difference between the conference she came from and the Big Ten in terms of the quickness of the athletes, but it looks like she's adjusting. And the thing you really appreciate about her is her ability to work with both hands.
Exactly. I mean, her ability to catch off the fly, her ability to finish with both hands and get to her spot. We always talk about her footwork and her positioning of being able to carve out space. She does such a good job of that. And for defenders, she's a menace because she's constantly working for that next position, and she's hard to guard.
Another post player we see a lot on the floor, Ricky Waltman. Ricky's been around a long time, and you know, she really gets after it on the glass.
Yeah. She was active on both ends, running the floor, you know, clogging up on defense and putting pressure on the other team. But, you know, she's been here a long time, and every game, every day she gets better, and she's really showing that. And I'm really happy for her, especially this year, to show her growth.
And we've seen her really come up big. I think of that game up at Northwestern where I thought she had some big plays that helped you and get on the glass. And, again, somebody who understands the system and understands the importance. And it seems like, you know, I'm not in the locker room, but Ricky seems like a really good teammate. Like there's somebody that the other players really rally around.
Absolutely. You know, she's a great teammate, and she's very coachable too. You know, she's grown up a lot these last couple of years working with me and Coach Kuchar, and just buying into what her role is, and whatever it is that day, she wants to do it to the best of her ability. And KG's done a lot with building her confidence and building all the girls' confidence, honestly. Like, they really, really look for her for that, and KG's done a good job of really motivating them and getting them to that next level.
Ava Learn is a player that brings a lot of energy onto the floor, and she's always going to make things happen. Usually they're good things, but she's always going to make things happen on the court.
Yes. She's active, whether it's vocally or physically. She definitely brings it and brings a level of intensity, energy that our team needs, and she's a great teammate to her teammates, and she just plays so hard. She gives it all out no matter what, every possession.
A player we haven't seen a lot of this year. I know your freshmen are trying to work their way into the rotation, but what can you tell us about Lily Stoddard?
She's growing, man. She's a worker. She stays in the gym. She wants to get better. She wants to develop as a basketball player, so you credit her for that. And so she's just trying to wait her turn and see where it goes. But she's been a great asset in our post group. They've done a good job of really adapting her, putting her on her wing, and just really trying to make her get better.
All right, we're coming to you from Walk-Ons in West Lafayette. We'll have more of the Katie Gearlds Show presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Our Boilermakers have always been what unite us. To this hallowed field, we return each fall to be a part of something special. We've seen legends born and moments etched in time.
Wide open! Touchdown Purdue! Seth Morales! Holy Toledo! Thomas steps away, Coleman fumble, and got it! Beasley rushes free for the Purdue touchdown! It's pandemonium, Coach! Open year! Hope we have a whole lot more. It's a great win for Purdue.
For nearly a century, Ross-Ade Stadium has been the home of Purdue football. As we forge ahead, we have a rare opportunity to fortify the legacy of future generations of faithful Boilermakers. Together, we will guarantee the passion you have for the old gold and black will endure for years to come.
Let the carnage and the chaos continue. How about them Boilers?
Boiler up, friends. The time is now.
Ryan Walters will take over as head man in West Lafayette.
This is a great one.
This is not just any defensive coordinator, because Ryan Walters has been a rising star in this industry.
An absolute star in the coaching ranks. I knew this guy since he was a young cat, and I can tell you, no one will work harder.
You know, there's a job to do, and you know, this is what I want to do. But right now, I'm excited. I'm fired up. There's work to be done. So if there's work to be done, I'm going to be working.
Better time to be a Boilermaker. No, there's not. No, his time is now.
I need some bread. Been trapping for 2 days. If you rockin' with the ops, we gotta win the block. Got my cook in the Dior, but I got on Gucci socks.
For the Pro Boilers feature, where we look at how former Purdue student athletes are doing in their professional sports careers. Pro Boilers is presented by Indiana Kitchen Premium Pork Products. Get to know us at indianakitchen.com. Both our Pro Boilers and Indiana Kitchen are boiler-made. We have 4 players playing overseas right now in Europe. Aya Traore in Spain played Saturday. Her team lost 54-49. Aya had 9 points and 5 rebounds. Her team now 12-5 on the season. Aya is averaging 13 points and 8.5 rebounds a game. Also playing in Spain is KK Hauser. She had 22 points and 6 assists for her team, but they lost Saturday 83-74 to drop to 6-14 on the season. Adriana Keys playing in Poland had the best night of the weekend, playing Saturday night, 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. Her team an 82-66 winner. They're now 8-7. And Sam Ostorello had 6 points and 3 rebounds in her game in Italy. That was an 80-70 win. Her team now 11-8 on the year. We are joined by former professional basketball player and current assistant coach Alex Guyton. We've talked a little bit about your professional experience, but I have to believe it makes you mature a lot off the floor as well as on the court. You're going to learn a lot about basketball, but you're probably going to learn a lot more about yourself.
Absolutely. I credit my growth to that time, that year I spent overseas where I was out of my comfort zone for a full year. Just having to be on your own, do things on your own, and develop a mindset of being a professional and not necessarily the team aspect where college basketball is so much about team.
By the way, talking about coaches, and you wonder why coaches go crazy sometimes, I mentioned Nebraska scored 30 points in the first quarter. Through 6 minutes of the second quarter, they've scored 2 points. And they've gone 0 for their last 8 from the field. So what was a 17-point game is now a 9-point game. And that's why basketball has 4 quarters, and we play to the end. We're talking about Northwestern. You got them on Sunday, but you've got Rutgers coming up Thursday. How do you divide the scouting duties on this staff right now?
So Michael does the offense, Beth does the defense, I do the out-of-bounds plays, and then KG and Lakin kind of do our personnel. So it's kind of a combined effort. We all do our separate parts, and then we'll come together and kind of talk about how we want to collectively guard things, defend things, and how we want to go about the game plan.
The software, and you were a video coordinator before this, you understand the software packages that are involved, but it's amazing that right after a game, you can literally sit down with your laptop on the flight home and either look at the game you just played or the game that you got coming up, and you've got all your out-of-bounds plays all together.
Yes, absolutely. The technology is crazy, how fast they can get you things and how detailed, if you want things detailed, how detailed they can be. So the turnaround is much quicker, so it allows us to have a quick turnaround as well as far as getting to the next scout once we completed a game.
You've been a player, you've been a coach. Part of being a great basketball program is staying on an even keel. You played a very emotional game yesterday, big crowd. Now you're going on the road, probably going to have a much smaller crowd at Rutgers, probably not going to have a lot of Purdue fans in the stands. How do you maintain the intensity that your team came out with Sunday in the tunnel when you play in Jersey Mike's Arena on Thursday night?
I think it's just a mindset of knowing that, this is the next task. You know what I mean? We want to get back. We want to build what we have at IU and have that consistently. Then we have to build and go forward and win the games we're supposed to win. And I think our girls buy into that a lot and buy into the atmosphere of going on the road. It's just us. It's us against the world. And we did that last week going against Ohio State and going against Illinois. So I think that gave us a lot of confidence going into this next week where, hey, we know when we're on the road, it's us against the world. We're going in together.
I have to imagine, as a Bloomington native, it's always hard to lose to the Hoosiers. Yesterday, again, great atmosphere, but got to be a little tougher on you going from behind enemy lines to come up here to Purdue and then watching them win on your home floor.
Yes, it definitely stings a little bit. It still stings a lot more going back home when I get the ranting from the IU fans when I pull in the driveway and things like that. But it's all a learning experience, and I appreciate the passion that our girls, not necessarily being from especially in some of our non-in-state girls, not necessarily knowing tradition, but buying into the tradition and knowing how important this game is and important it is to have wins against IU. So I think going forward, we'll definitely have a good mindset.
Well, we talk about the greatest cliche in the world is the future is in front of us, but that's exactly the case for this team because you've got 6 games left in the regular season. You're still in a great position to qualify, hopefully, for the NCAA tournament, get a really good seed in the Big Ten tournament. So I think it's all full speed ahead, right?
Absolutely. Just one game, one possession at a time. Keep it going.
We're going to go to the bullpen for the closer now. Is that all right?
All righty.
All right. Michael Scruggs will join us next. It's the Katie Gearlds Show presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Katie Gearlds knows she can step out and knock that down. Offensive board for Parrish. Had it ripped away. Back come the Boilermakers. Aisha Petrie turns, snaps, and pops. She's solidified in a tournament spot right now. Harper 3. That's a big one to go down. Indiana basketball, just like her head coach, Katie Gearlds, one of 10 in program history. Downhill, Ellis, that's what Katie Gearlds wants to see, is her guards getting downhill.
To maneuver around screening actions, you've got to use your feet and do a dance.
Blocked there from Smith, off the ball. Now you see Ellis with it, has to step back. That's a really tough shot, doesn't matter for Abby Ellis.
Previous play. The high ball screen was coming. And she didn't need it.
They're doing it again today.
No doubt.
Harden's drive. Purdue has the lead.
Here at Indiana, she's a seasoned vet when it comes to playing against tough competition.
That's an and one for Purdue.
Garzone lays it up. Waitress style, serving it up, and then on the X factor for the success of this Indiana ball club.
That's a good way to put it. An X factor. And as easy drive for Jayla Smith turns into two.
And top 3 in the country.
Certainly on track to do that again today. Second effort from Petrie.
The absence of offensive production, that one away on the offensive boards.
Petrie just 3 of 10, by the way. Player averages 14 a game. Terry, who got into foul trouble earlier, kicks it over to Smith and able to get that to go around and down. Love chatting with her. Drive from Scalia, blocked from behind by Smith, who's a young player that will be playing for Katie Gearlds over the next few years in this fourth quarter.
Yeah. How about this defense right here on Scalia?
Welcome back to the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union. We're live at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. Lafayette Limo, family-owned, women-owned, serving Greater Lafayette for over 33 years. Shuttles to and from Indianapolis and O'Hare airports 365 days a year. Make your reservations now at LafayetteLimo.com. Lafayette Limo, proud sponsor of Purdue Athletics. Joined by assistant coach and fellow Buffalo Bills fanatic, Michael Scruggs. Can we talk the Bills first, just for a minute?
Absolutely.
I think
Go
I've
Bills.
asked you this before, but how in the world did you become a Buffalo Bills fan?
Well, my beautiful wife back there played basketball at St. Bonaventure, and she grew up in Buffalo. And I've just kind of come along with her. And ever since I've been a fan, they've been successful, so I'm going to keep rooting for them.
The St. Bonaventure Bonnies in beautiful Olean, New York, in Cattaraugus County. I grew up in Chautauqua County, next county over, so great to have you here tonight. And I have to say, I know I've told this story before, but I like telling it. We were in Ann Arbor not this last year, but the year before, when the Bills played Kansas City in the playoffs. You remember that was a game. Buffalo scored a touchdown with 13 seconds left, and then Kansas City goes down and scored. I'm watching the game in my hotel room, and I can hear the guy in the room next to me is just screaming his lungs out, and obviously rooting for the Bills. And I'm thinking, I hope the windows are locked here because this guy might be throwing himself out the window. Found out the next day it was him.
Oh, that was a tough game to watch. That was a tough game to watch. But yeah, I definitely got rowdy after that one. Especially, it was bragging rights because with Katie being a Chiefs fan.
Oh yeah,
so.
you knew as soon as we got on the bus the next day, it was brutal.
You knew it was going to be bad. You knew it was going to be bad.
Let's talk a little bit. You're the recruiting coordinator for this program, and you had 5 recruits there yesterday. All 5 of your signees, and boy, they had to be impressed by the atmosphere, weren't they?
Yeah, they were, and I thought it was really cool because they kind of coordinated it themselves. They have a group chat, and they just all talk to each other, and they're great kids, and they're just so bought into the program, and they're excited to be here next year and continue to elevate this program, and very, very excited that they were able to come. Great atmosphere as well. Wish we could have came out a little bit different on the winning column on that, but. Definitely good environment for them.
When we talk recruiting, it used to be you talked high school stuff. It was all high school. You get the kids, and you still have to do that from an early point. But recruiting now in college athletics is part high school and it's part portal. How do you try to balance those two?
I think the biggest thing is just being able to find out your needs and the needs that fit Katie and her program and what we want to build and her system. And I think that's the biggest thing. And then I think once you find those kids, I think it's very important to do your homework and do your research on what type of people they are. What's their home life? How are they with, their teachers? How are they with, their colleagues at school? And to me, that stuff speaks volumes. So we like to dive in and get to know these kids and how they are as people, not just as basketball players.
Yeah, I have to believe it's a lot harder to do that second part with portal players because with a high school kid, you can build a relationship freshman, sophomore years and really follow them and understand how they work, and you can really get into the depths of their background. Portal players, they're going into the portal, and you got to be in there quickly, and you got to make some pretty quick decisions on these players.
You do, and you got to do a lot of research. You got to watch a lot of film. You got to have a lot of conversations. I mean, I know just for Laisha as a standpoint, I mean, when we were trying to pursue her, I mean, our entire staff had multiple conversations with her, reached out to some other coaches that, she had played for, just to get the kind of person that she was. And then luckily on her visit, we just really got a good vibe from her and how she was as a player, big-time competitor as well. And so we had some success with her, also with Caitlin Harper as well.
You throw into that the challenge of the COVID years that were added on, and sometimes it takes a mathematician to figure out how many players you have on scholarship, how many players have eligibility left. And now you've got a bunch of players that have the ability, if they want to play another year, to play another season. You want to give them some space, but you've also got to kind of find out, what do you think you're doing? Because you need to know what you need for next season.
It's definitely a challenging balance. I mean, we have a recruiting forecast with all of our kids who we have coming in, years of eligibility, position-wise, and so it's definitely something that you have to continue to chart, and you have to continue to just kind of see what fits our system and our team.
What are you selling right now with Purdue basketball? When you go out and talk to potential recruits, Katie gets involved, all the assistant coaches get involved, but what's the biggest selling point?
The biggest selling point for me is Katie Gearlds, because not only is she an unbelievable coach, she's an unbelievable person. She's a player's coach. I think the biggest thing nowadays with kids, I mean, the way that she can give these kids confidence, I think is huge. Just the way that she gives them freedom, she gives them confidence, and she's always there for them whenever they need something. And then it helps when you have, the Purdue faithful that come out and support you with 14,000 fans. I mean, that's just unheard of. And big thanks to everybody that came out, because that's just huge. And, I mean, we had nine recruits there yesterday, and to see that environment, it's unbelievable.
All right, we'll have more with Michael Scruggs in 2 minutes. It's the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
So here we are. Super Bowl champions are born here. This wall commemorates, all of the former Purdue players that have played in the Super Bowl. You know a little bit about this. I know nothing about this. I never got the opportunity to play in the Super Bowl. Never could get past the Dallas Cowboys, that 93-94, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, they just handed it to us. I'm just being honest. But tell me about that experience. And how did Purdue help you, as a leader of the Saints, 2006, get to that point, and just a little bit about that season.
Yeah. Well, I think I speak for all the guys that are listed up here as Super Bowl champions in saying that Purdue sharpened us, Purdue molded us, Purdue gave us opportunities to develop our confidence and develop our skill, and to see what a winning program looks like, and to see what a winning team and a winning culture looks like. And that's what we had here, and that's what we were then able to go and impart on the teams that we played at in the NFL. A lot of, I think, the expectation level that you have and your leadership qualities and abilities carry forward from learned here. I can certainly say that, and I know a lot of these guys will as well. I played with a lot of these guys, and this is a testament to not just what these guys meant to this program here at Purdue, but what they then went on to accomplish based on, I think, the knowledge, experience, and wisdom that they garnered from here. And all these guys I see come back to Purdue and contribute still so much, not just to the football program, but to the university. And I think it says a lot about the way that they feel about how this experience here at Purdue contributed to that success.
Everyone needs a little playing time, so before a Purdue basketball game or any time throughout the week, stop by Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. After tonight, only 2 more shows. We're coming up next Monday night, February 13th, and our last show of the season here will be February 20th. So if you're thinking about coming down for the Matt Painter show at 6:05 and for Katie's show at 7:10, you're running out of opportunities. So please come down and do that. Let's talk a little bit about your guards, because you work with the backcourt players, and one of the players who's probably the hottest for you right now in terms of offense is Abby Ellis. And it amazes me when you watch her play at 5'6" that she's able to do some of the things she can do on a basketball court.
She plays so much bigger than her size, and just her ability to get to the paint, her ability to make shots from the perimeter. I mean, the kid is very much invested. She spends a lot of time in the gym. She puts up a lot of shots, and big-time teammate as well. I mean, really good kid.
Well, and she's also a person that shows her emotion. You can see her emotions on the court. Sometimes good, sometimes they're a little, she's a little angry.
Yeah,
either at herself or at the officials or at something.
She's a little feisty little thing, but I mean, I think a lot of that has to do with just her competitiveness. I mean, the kid wants to win at all costs. She plays so hard. And yeah, she plays with emotion. She definitely does.
Cassidy Harden came to Purdue with a reputation as a shooter, and she's going to leave as one of the top 5 all-time three-point shooters in program history. But Cassidy Harden also leads this team by a mile in charges taken. She's a player that's not afraid to stick her nose in. She's guarded post players a lot of her career here, and she's done whatever it takes.
She's the ultimate teammate. That kid is, I mean, she will sacrifice her body. She'll sacrifice whatever she can to help her team. And really glad that Cass elected to come back and play her last season here with us. And she's just the ultimate teammate, and she's been great for us, especially within this transition.
Can't wait to call her Dr. Harden here in a few years.
Absolutely.
Laisha Petrie's a player we mentioned a little bit earlier, came from a couple of different places, Bradley and Rutgers, and I know she'll be excited to go back and play against her former team. But we've seen Laisha as a player that can take over a game at any time.
Yeah, she can. And just like Abby, I mean, her versatility to be able to score off the bounce and be able to hit shots from the perimeter, I mean, she definitely has that scorer's mentality. I actually think she's coming up close on actually her 2000th collegiate point coming up, I believe.
Yep, you are absolutely correct. I don't know how close she is. I'll have to take a look, but hopefully she'll get a lot of points on Thursday night.
I rewatched the game this morning with the audio from FS1, and I believe they said that she was like 54 points away.
Well, if she does that Thursday night, I like our chances.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
Janae Terry is a stat stuffer. Not the greatest scorer, but she's able to really facilitate. She distributes the ball. She rebounds the ball, and she's a player that has great court vision.
She does, and JT is one of those stat stuffers. I mean, her ability to pass the ball, her ability to get out and get steals, defensive rebounds, scoring from the perimeter. I mean, she's a stat stuffer, and she's an ultimate teammate as well.
By the way, Ian just texted us that Laisha needs 41 points, so we're going to lessen the burden on her. She doesn't have to go for 54 Thursday. We'll take a 41-point night.
I'll take that. I'll take that. Right. I like our chances.
Madison Layden has had a little bit up and down offensively, but the one thing that gets lost with her a lot of times is her ability to defend on the perimeter.
Her ability to defend on the perimeter, and also her court vision as well. Her and JT do a great job within our transition of kicking the ball up and finding shooters. And defensively, like you said, her length and her size actually really does bother a lot of guards within our league. And she's always been that guard for us that typically takes on their best offensive player.
We've seen Jayla Smith scratch the surface a little bit. You can really see her coming on in her sophomore year.
You can. Her athleticism is just off the charts. I mean, there's times in practice she'll make a first step past one of our practice players, and it's just like, wow. That kid is just so talented. And she's just going to continue to work, and she's just going to continue to get better as well.
Like Lily Stoddard, Addison Potts, a player that's trying to find some playing time and try to find her way as a college freshman.
Yeah, she is. The thing about Addie, she comes every day. She continues to work, which I respect that from her. She's just going to continue to progress and get better as she continues to work and, find herself within the system. But her mentality and, her ability to work each day is something that I think is going to, help her in the long run.
And lastly, a player we haven't seen because of injury, but I know a Holzer who's a physics major, speaks a lot of different languages. Hopefully all that skill and intelligence will translate on the basketball court.
I think you tapped on it when you said intelligence. Her basketball IQ within practice, she'll constantly, come up over the side and she'll ask questions. She'll, talk about different things, within a ball screen and how they're playing off of it. But that kid sees the game. She's played at a high level, playing professionally overseas, played at a high level, so she definitely has that basketball IQ as well.
All right, final segment of the Katie Gearlds Show presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union is coming up on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
The walk down the tunnel today, it gave me chills.
just to see the support from all the students and all the, just everyone. Like it was just great to play in that atmosphere, and yeah, it's really great for women's basketball as well.
This is what it's supposed to look like in our game. And we've got to keep continuing to improve. Our product has to be a good product to get people to continue to come back. But this is what we're chasing, right? This is it. This is why I'm here, and this is what we're trying to do.
We got to work even harder every day, and now we're focused on Rutgers. We're gonna go down there and we're just gonna play how we play, and I think we got that toughness about us, and we'll just get back to work and learn from it and then go get some more wins.
We believe that we belong. Last week showed us that. Last 3 games, we go on the road to play a top 25 team. We go on the road, we play a top 5 team. We win. That's not supposed to happen, but we know and we feel and we believe that we belong.
This week's game plan is presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union, home of the official credit union for Purdue fans. Learn more about their products and services at purduefed.com. 2 games coming up. We have not seen Rutgers yet this season. Coquise Washington in her first year there, 8 players on their roster, and I think they've surprised some people, winning 4 games in the Big Ten.
They have surprised some people, and I was watching some film on them earlier this morning, and I mean, they compete. I mean, she has that team playing hard. They're scrappy. They run some good stuff offensively, really try to spread you out, attack the basket. So, I mean, yeah, she's got them playing well.
And a player we're going to hear a lot about in the next 4 years, Kayleen Smeichel is their leading scorer, and she'll be one of the leading candidates for Freshman of the Year in the Big Ten.
Absolutely. They try to do several things where they try to isolate her in some one-on-one actions from the wing and from the pinch post. But like you said, I mean, that kid can score from the perimeter. She can tack you off the bounce. So she's definitely somebody that we're going to have to key in on.
Super Bowl Sunday, tip-off at 2, so you can come to the game and get to your Super Bowl parties in plenty of time. No reason to miss that. It's going to be tough. We'll watch it.
Yeah.
We'll watch it. Wait until next year, right?
Wait till next year.
Northwestern is trailing Nebraska 37-25 at the half. You've seen the Wildcats. They're a team, though, that they're tough to really prepare for because they do a lot of stuff.
They do, and I think a lot of that has to do with that blizzard zone that Joe runs. They really try to make you play with a lot of indecision. But I think, I thought we did a good job of withstanding it at their place. But we're going to continue to need that exact same effort when they come up here this weekend.
Don't let the coach wear a Kansas City jersey on Sunday, all right?
I can't.
Can we stop that?
I don't have any control over that.
I understand. If she does that, maybe we can come out in Bills jerseys. I'm just saying. We might want to do that.
We'll see.
Thanks for stopping by tonight. Thanks to all the assistant coaches for filling in for Coach this evening.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tim.
All right,
Thank you all.
Again, we want to thank Beth Kuchar, Alex Guyton, and Michael Scruggs for being with us tonight. Also, our on-site engineer, Wes Scott, our producer, Roger Forsyth, and the video, as always, provided by Hunter Massengill. Boilermakers, 2 games this week at Rutgers Thursday night, pregame at 6:45, tip-off at 7 o'clock Eastern, and then Sunday Northwestern comes in on Super Bowl Sunday. We'll be on the air at 1:45. Until then, good night to everybody. It's the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.